A warning to America from House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. Here's what she had to say about the Supreme Court's Hobby Lobby ruling.
That court decision was a frightening one, that 5 men should get down to the specifics of whether a woman should use a diaphragm and she should pay for it herself or her boss. It's not her boss's business. His business is whatever his business is, but it's not what contraception she uses.
The men she's talking about are those that ruled that some employers with religious objections can decide not to offer birth control as part of their health care coverage. Pelosi's remarks, the latest in a series of moves by Democrats to use the court's ruling to get the women's vote in November. I mean, this is unbelievable to me because, first of all, the men are 5 Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, they're not
these are not just
dudes.
5 guys off the street.
Respect the court.
Second of all, they didn't. That's not actually what they ruled on. They weren't ruling on what she said. You know, they were ruling on the law, on the Constitution, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it. And this complete disrespect of the Supreme Court. I mean, Harris, what?
Well, let's use the word diaphragm. I mean, it's not like we can't say it. And the reason I say that is there are 20 contraceptives that are part of the Affordable Care Act that we're talking about. 4 are the exception for the opt-out that the Hobby Lobby ruling gives. It's okay to use the words like Ella and Plan B. It's all right. We're adults. We can use those words. Let's just get them right, and let's look at what's totally happening with this decision. It's not wiping away a woman's right to be able to get what she needs in terms of birth control.
Yeah.
It's saying that companies that are closely held like a Hobby Lobby or the woodworking company that was included in the ruling can opt out of those 4 that they find anathema to their religious beliefs. Let's at least get the facts on the table.
Weren't. That's just. I mean, let's just be clear though. They weren't making a decision. They weren't expressing an opinion on contraception.
Right.
The justices.
And this
right?
this was not a broad ruling.
Right.
Okay.
No,
this was about a narrow ruling about closely held corporations. It almost makes you wonder when you hear Nancy Pelosi talk like that, that she's just going out on a limb. This is a scare tactic, or she just really doesn't understand the ruling of the court.
Yeah, or contraceptives. Or to me, I mean, I actually have come around to believing that I almost wonder sometimes if they didn't do the contraception mandate knowing this would happen, and that what a great political issue. I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hear sometimes when Republicans give Obama that kind of credit that they messed up so bad it must have been planned. Listen, Nancy Pelosi is an ugly person, not physically, but in her heart. And this victim, I really know. Listen,
I don't think that.
I think the Democrats, unfortunately, they sell victimization all day long. All they've done in the last several years is made Americans hate each other. It's really black versus white, young versus old. It's just I've never heard any kind of unifying message out of them. It's always someone's after you, and I'm going to make sure they don't get you. You know, give me what I need so I can protect you, because these people over here don't like you. And I think it's despicable.
I think we're getting that from both parties.
Yeah,
I don't think that's just a Nancy Pelosi thing.
Yeah, but the
well,
thing is
she's mastered it, put it that way.
There's only 2 ways to look at this. Either she's ill-informed or she's a liar. That's the only 2 ways to look at this, because she's not accurately representing what's going on here. She's talking about legality. She's trying to paint the picture that someone is trying to make these contraceptives illegal. That's a political talking point going into the midterm elections that she's trying to win. Say Republicans want this to be illegal. I mean, you're bringing up legality, and also these Supreme Court justices. If they were to rule on Roe versus Wade, as they did, does she agree with them then? She's saying, I only agree with these men when they agree with me, totally taking out the fact that the Supreme Court doesn't work like that. That's just not how it works over there.
Well, and she's vilified them because they're men.
Well, exactly.
Which I think is interesting.
And that's another war on women talking point.
All right.